1 hour. That's all it takes to change everything about your life. It sounds simple, too simple, but the truth is hidden in its simplicity. Think about how many hours slip through your fingers every single day. Scrolling endlessly, overthinking the same problems, waiting for the right time. You tell yourself you want to be better. You want to feel proud of yourself again. You want to fix your habits, get ahead, and finally build momentum. But then, you skip the very 1 hour that could have changed everything. This isn't a book about hype. This is not about motivation that dies in a week. This is about being brutally honest with yourself. It's about one thing: discipline. Practical, real-world discipline. One focused hour every day, no matter how you feel, no matter what's happening around you. Because that's what builds confidence. That's what rebuilds focus. That's what breaks you free from feeling stuck. If you've been living in distraction, if you're tired of your own excuses, if you're ready to feel proud of yourself again, this is where it starts. 1 hour. Every day. No drama, no overthinking, just results. 1 hour. That's all it takes to start taking back control of your life. Most people think success comes from massive, overnight changes, something big, something dramatic. But that's a lie. Real change doesn't begin when everything in your life is fixed. It starts with one simple decision. What will you do with the next hour? Because here's the truth. You don't need a new life plan. You don't need another motivational quote. You need to stop wasting time. It never looks like a problem at first. 5 minutes scrolling. 10 minutes watching something you don't even care about. A quick check on social media that turns into 30 minutes of nothingness. You tell yourself it's no big deal. But those minutes pile up. And one day, you wake up and realize, a year has passed, and nothing has changed. That's how wasted time works. It steals from you quietly. You don't notice it until it's gone. Imagine this instead: you take 1 hour, just one, and you lock in. You focus on something real, something that actually moves you forward. Maybe it's learning a skill. Maybe it's working out. Maybe it's writing, reading, building something, fixing something. 1 hour of focused effort doesn't just move you forward. It changes how you feel about yourself. Because every time you complete that hour, you start to trust yourself again. You start to believe you're capable of following through. You stop living on autopilot and start choosing your direction. You don't need to announce it to anyone. You don't need to post it online. This isn't about validation. This is about you choosing you for 1 hour every single day. Most people keep waiting for motivation to show up. But motivation is like a flaky friend. It only shows up when things are easy. Discipline is different. Discipline shows up even when you don't feel like it. You don't need more motivation. You need standards. You need to say, I will not waste this hour anymore. Because nobody is coming to save your time. Nobody is going to knock on your door and take your phone away. Nobody will force you to focus. That's on you. And if you don't make the decision, tomorrow will look exactly like today. And next year will feel exactly like last year. You can change everything with one decision. I give myself 1 hour every single day to stop wasting time and build my life. That 1 hour is your foundation. It's your edge. It's the hour that says no to distraction and yes to your future. You want to feel stronger? Use that hour to move your body. You want to think better? Use that hour to read and learn. You want to be more successful? Use that hour to build, create, and take action on your dreams. The people who win in life aren't the ones who are constantly busy. They're the ones who know exactly where their time is going. If you can't tell me where your time went today, it's being wasted. And that truth stings, but it's good that it stings. Because that sting is a wake-up call. 1 hour a day where you're fully present, fully focused, fully committed. That's how you rebuild your life. Put your phone away. Close the door. Tell yourself, this is my hour, and I'm not giving it away anymore. You don't need to be perfect in that hour. You just need to be focused. Even if you don't feel like it, even if you're tired, even if your mood is off, you show up. And when you do that consistently, something inside you shifts. You feel valuable again. You believe in your ability to follow through. You carry yourself differently. Not because people say you've changed, but because you know you've changed. This is how real transformation begins. Not with a New Year's resolution, not with some big announcement, but with one quiet hour a day where you do the right thing for yourself. 1 hour where you don't check your phone. 1 hour where you don't run from your work. 1 hour where you don't escape into distractions. That's your edge, because most people won't do it. They'll keep scrolling. They'll keep waiting. They'll keep saying someday. But not you, because you've decided, I want more out of life. I want to feel proud of myself again. I want to build something that matters. And you don't need 10 steps to start. You just need 1 hour. 1 hour of focused effort. Every day, no matter what. That's how you reclaim your time and rebuild your life. Because the way you spend your hours is the way you spend your life. And this hour is yours now. Change doesn't wait for you to feel ready. It doesn't show up one magical morning when life feels easy. It doesn't care if you're tired or overwhelmed. Change begins the moment you begin. The biggest lie people tell themselves is this: I'll start tomorrow. I'll start when things calm down. I'll start when I feel motivated. But you know what happens? Tomorrow comes, and nothing changes. You've lived this cycle before. You know exactly how it ends. More waiting, more frustration, more of the same. When you keep postponing your growth, your brain starts believing delay is normal. You think you're waiting for the right time, but you're really training yourself to avoid action. And the cost is massive. You lose momentum. You lose belief in yourself. You start carrying quiet guilt because deep down, you know you could have started but didn't. That's why 1 honest hour of focused action is so powerful. Because it's a pattern breaker. It's the moment you stop saying someday and start saying now. Most people don't start because they think they need the whole path mapped out. They believe they need all the answers before taking the first step. But clarity doesn't come from thinking. It comes from moving, from doing, from learning as you go. The truth is, you don't have to know everything. You just need to know what you can do for the next hour. That project you've been avoiding, open it. That business idea you keep talking about, research it. That health goal you keep postponing, take 1 step today. 1 hour. That's all it takes to go from thinking to doing. It's funny how we build up so much resistance before we start. We convince ourselves it's going to be overwhelming, complicated, impossible. But once we begin, it's never as bad as we imagined. The hard part isn't doing the work. The hard part is starting the work. That's why this 1 hour matters so much. Cuts through resistance. Kills procrastination. It gets you moving because movement is what creates momentum. You tell yourself you're too tired. You say you don't have the energy. But the truth is, you're tired because you're avoiding what matters. Avoidance drains you. Delay steals your energy. That's why you feel heavy when you haven't started. But the moment you sit down and focus, even for 10 minutes, you feel lighter. You feel awake again. Because action energizes you. So stop waiting for the perfect mood. You don't need to feel like it. You need to start despite how you feel. You don't have to tell the world you're changing. You don't have to announce it on social media. This isn't for applause. This is for you. For your confidence. For your future. Take 1 quiet hour and give it everything. No distractions. No half effort. Just 1 solid hour of focus on what you know needs to be done. It won't feel perfect. It might feel uncomfortable. But when you finish, you'll feel something better than comfort. Pride. Stop thinking you need to rebuild your whole life overnight. That's overwhelming and unrealistic. Instead, aim for 1 small win a day. Stack those wins for a week. Stack them for a month. Before you know it, you're not the same person anymore. You're someone who takes action. You're someone who moves even when you don't feel like it. You're someone who follows through. Most people think confidence comes first. They wait until they feel ready. But confidence is a result, not a requirement. Comes after you start, not before. Every time you show up for that 1 hour, you're building self-respect. You're proving to yourself that you mean what you say. And that self-respect becomes confidence. You don't need to believe you can do everything. You just need to believe you can do something for 1 hour today. Think about it. How many times have you said you'll start next week? How many times has next week turned into next month? And how many months have turned into years? That's the pain of inaction. It doesn't hurt today, but it destroys tomorrow. 1 hour of honest work breaks that cycle. 1 hour of starting, even if it's messy, even if it's imperfect, pulls you out of the waiting game and into motion. You don't need a complicated routine. You don't need special tools. All you need is a set time, clear task, no distractions. That's it. When the hour starts, you don't negotiate. You don't say, I'll just check one thing. You don't say, maybe later. You start. You move. You build. 1 hour might not seem like much, but it's everything. It's your proof to yourself. It's your first win. It's your pattern breaker. Because once you start, everything else becomes easier. Finishing becomes easier. Focusing becomes easier. Believing in yourself becomes easier. So take that hour and start today, not next week, not someday. Today. And keep going until starting is no longer scary, until momentum is your new normal. Bad habits don't disappear on their own. They don't politely pack up and leave your life because you want to change. They stay until you face them. And if you don't face them, they'll quietly run your life for years. You already know what your bad habits are. You don't need a list. You feel it every time you waste hours scrolling instead of creating. Delay work until it's urgent and stressful. Give in to things you know don't serve you. Each time you give in, your self-trust takes a hit. That's the real damage of bad habits. They don't just steal time. They steal how you feel about yourself. The reason most people stay stuck is because they think they need to change their whole life in one shot. They set extreme goals, make impossible schedules, then burn out after 2 days. Here's the truth. You don't need to break every bad habit at once. You just need to interrupt them. 1 hour at a time. One focused hour where you refuse to feed the habit that's holding you back. It depends on your habits. If you procrastinate, that 1 hour becomes your work hour. If you constantly check your phone, that 1 hour is phone-free. If you binge-watch shows, that 1 hour is for learning or building. This isn't about doing everything. It's about doing the opposite of what's been hurting you for 1 dedicated hour each day. You didn't pick up your habits overnight. You repeated them until they became automatic. Now, you need to reverse that process also with repetition. 1 focused hour daily where you interrupt the pattern rewires your brain. At first, it feels uncomfortable because your mind craves the old comfort. But discomfort is where growth lives. The goal isn't perfection. The goal is interruption. You can't talk your way out of a bad habit. You can't think positive your way out of a pattern that you physically repeat every day. You have to act your way out. You have to build a new pattern through doing, not talking. And 1 hour a day is enough to start that transformation. Because consistency beats intensity. A small, focused effort every day will outwork random big efforts that happen once a month. Every time you show up for that hour, you create proof that you're stronger than your excuses. Proof that you can delay comfort. Proof that you can choose growth instead of indulgence. That proof is powerful. Because the next time temptation shows up, you'll have evidence. I've done this before. I can do it again. That's how self-control is built. Not through motivation, but through proof. Bad habits aren't just actions, they're identities. You start believing you're the kind of person who always scrolls, always procrastinates, always eats poorly. But when you commit 1 hour a day to doing the opposite, you start rewriting that identity. You stop being the person who can't change and start being the person who shows up anyway. When you break 1 bad habit, you create room for better ones. You stop wasting energy on guilt. You start feeling lighter. You gain confidence from doing what's hard. And that confidence spreads. It's not just about 1 habit, it's about proving to yourself you can change it all. Because once you know you can change one thing, you start believing you can change anything. Here's the truth. Most people will keep their bad habits. They'll say they don't have time while wasting hours every night. They'll blame stress, boredom, even other people. But not you, because you've decided 1 hour a day is non-negotiable. This is your time to break free. This is your time to build something better. Breaking habits isn't comfortable. Feels awkward. Feels hard. But that discomfort is temporary. The freedom you gain is permanent. You'll sleep better. You'll think clearer. You'll respect yourself more. All because you chose 1 hour every day to stop feeding the behaviors that kept you stuck. Start simple. Pick one habit you know is hurting you. Block 1 hour to do the opposite of that habit. Do it every day, no excuses, no breaks. It's not about perfection. It's about progress. Because every hour spent breaking bad habits is an hour invested in building a stronger you. There will be days when you feel like you've got nothing left. Your energy is low. Your mind feels heavy. Everything inside you screams to slow down, to wait, to push things off. And those are the most dangerous days. Because that's when most people stop. That's when momentum dies. But if you want to change your life, you can't afford to stop every time you feel low. You need to learn to push anyway, not all day, not for endless hours, just 1 hour. One focused, disciplined hour that says, I refuse to let this day beat me. We've been taught to listen to our feelings. To wait until we feel like it. But feelings are liars. Your brain will tell you, you're too tired. You need a break. Just do it tomorrow. But guess what? Tomorrow doesn't feel any different. And the habit of quitting when you feel off becomes permanent. The difference between those who succeed and those who stay stuck. It's not motivation. It's not talent. It's the ability to move forward even when they feel low. You don't need to be productive for 12 hours when you're drained. You just need 1 hour where you stop scrolling. 1 hour where you stop feeling sorry for yourself. 1 hour where you move forward even if it's slow, even if it's messy. Because 1 hour of effort can pull you out of the spiral. Can remind you you're not powerless. Can turn a bad day into a winning day. If you rely on your mood to decide your actions, you'll always be inconsistent. Some days you'll feel strong, other days you won't. But discipline doesn't care about mood. Discipline says, it's 1 hour. You can do 1 hour no matter how you feel. And here's the secret. Once you start, the heaviness fades. You felt it before, the relief of pushing through when you almost quit. That pride is stronger than any excuse. It's easy to work hard when you're feeling good. Anyone can do that. But growth comes from the days when you feel low and still show up. That's when you build something deeper than motivation. That's when you build resilience. Because every time you work through discomfort, you're proving to yourself, I don't quit when it's hard. And that proof becomes your edge. When you're low, don't pressure yourself to do everything. Don't chase perfection. Just do one thing that matters. Write for an hour. Study for an hour. Clean up for an hour. It doesn't matter what it is. What matters is that you didn't let the day defeat you. And when you finish, you'll feel lighter, clearer, stronger. Many people think they need to rest when they feel low, but often they need progress. They don't feel drained because of work. They feel drained because of avoiding work. Avoidance creates mental stress. Doing the thing, even for 1 hour, releases it. It shifts your energy because now you have proof that you're not stuck. You're moving. You're building. You're leading your day instead of reacting to it. Quitting feels good for a moment. You get temporary relief, but it comes with long-term regret. Pushing for 1 hour feels hard now but brings long-term pride. Ask yourself, which pain do I want to live with? The pain of effort or the pain of regret? One leads to progress. The other leads to guilt. And guilt is heavier than effort will ever be. You're not just completing tasks, you're building who you are. You're proving to yourself that you don't fold under pressure. You're proving that you're reliable, even on your worst days. When you string enough of those days together, something powerful happens. Your low moments stop controlling you. You stop waiting for motivation and start trusting your discipline. The person you're becoming is built right now, in the hours when no one's watching, when it's hard, when you could quit but don't. That's where character is built. That's where your edge comes from. 1 hour on your hardest days might be worth more than 10 hours on your easy days, because that 1 hour builds your core. It shows you that no matter what, you can still move forward. The next time you feel low, don't pause your life. Don't hand the day over to excuses. Say this to yourself, I don't need to feel perfect to make progress. I just need to give one honest hour. And when that hour is over, you'll stand taller. You'll feel calmer. You'll know deep down that you're stronger than you thought. Here's the truth most people don't want to face. The life you want is hidden behind the tasks you keep avoiding. It's not that you don't know what to do. You know exactly what needs to be done. The hard phone call, the workout, the finances you've been ignoring, the side project you keep promising to start. You're not stuck because you don't know what to do. You're stuck because you keep running from it. Avoidance feels safe in the moment. You tell yourself, I'll do it tomorrow when I'm ready. But tomorrow becomes next week. Next week becomes next month. And soon, the weight of all those unfinished things starts to crush you. Avoidance doesn't remove pressure, it multiplies it. It takes one simple task and turns it into an emotional monster that follows you everywhere. You feel it in the back of your mind every day. You carry it into your evenings. You even think about it while trying to relax. Because deep down, you know you've been running. 1 hour a day is all it takes to destroy avoidance and rebuild control. 1 hour where you stop escaping and face the very thing you've been avoiding. You don't tiptoe around it. You don't think about it, you do it. You send the email. You clean the mess. You make the call. You start the work you've been delaying. It's uncomfortable at first, but discomfort is temporary. The pride that follows is permanent. Avoiding hard things doesn't just waste your time, it kills your self-respect. Every time you say, I'll do it later, but don't, your brain learns one thing: I don't keep promises to myself. That's why avoidance feels heavy. It's not just about the task. It's about the identity you're reinforcing. But when you take 1 hour and face what you've been avoiding, you send a different message. I handle what needs to be handled. I can trust myself. You don't need to fix everything in one day. You just need to pick one avoided task and give it 1 hour. That 1 hour will give you relief because finally, you're facing what's been haunting you. Clears mental space. It gives you breathing room. It gives you momentum. The tasks you avoid are often tied to fear. Fear of failure. Fear of judgment. Fear of discomfort. But fear shrinks the moment you take action. The call you feared for a week feels simple once you make it. The work you delayed for months feels manageable once you start. Fear feeds on avoidance. Action starves it. Most people wait to feel ready before facing hard tasks. But readiness doesn't come first, action does. You won't feel amazing before you start. You'll feel resistance, anxiety, and maybe even dread. But once you start, those feelings fade. And when you finish, you feel lighter, freer, stronger. When you use that hour to face the hard thing, you're not just getting something done. You're keeping a promise to yourself. That builds integrity. And integrity builds confidence. You stop walking around with the weight of undone work. You start walking like someone who takes care of business. 1 hour a day doing the things you normally avoid will completely change how you feel about your life. You'll stop feeling like life is running you. You'll stop carrying guilt everywhere. You'll stop being controlled by fear. Instead, you'll feel control. You'll feel capable. You'll feel free. Identify one thing you've been avoiding. Block 1 hour for it, no distractions, no excuses. Do it until it's complete or until you've made progress you can feel. Repeat that daily. Each time you do it, avoidance loses power and action becomes your new normal. This is how you stop being the person who puts things off and start being the person who handles business. You stop running from your life and start leading it. 1 hour, every day. That's all it takes to become someone you can respect again. Regret is heavy. It doesn't hit all at once. It creeps in slowly. A missed chance. A bad choice. A day you didn't show up when you should have. And before you know it, regret becomes your background noise. A quiet voice reminding you of what you should have done differently. But here's the truth. Regret is not a life sentence. It's a signal. It's your mind saying, you still care. You can still fix this. Most people do one of two things with regret. They drown in it and do nothing. They avoid it and pretend it doesn't exist. Neither works. Regret grows louder the longer you ignore it. But when you take just one focused hour a day to address what you regret, you take back control. You stop being a prisoner to your past and start building a better future. You can't erase what's already happened, but you can rebuild from it. If you hurt someone, you can apologize. If you neglected your health, you can start taking care of it. If you wasted years, you can begin learning and building today. 1 hour a day focused on fixing what you regret is enough to start turning your life around. Write that message you've been avoiding. Call the person you've been distant from. Commit 1 hour to rebuilding the dream you gave up on. Take that skill or opportunity you abandoned and work on it again. It doesn't need to be dramatic. It just needs to be consistent. The longer you avoid what's broken, the heavier it becomes. You know the feeling, the quiet heaviness when you think about your past mistakes and instantly try to distract yourself. But distraction doesn't heal regret. It only covers it for a while. And when the noise fades, the regret is still there. The only way to silence regret is through action. You can't undo the past, but you can take responsibility for the present. When you say, "I'm going to spend 1 hour a day making this right," you turn pain into fuel. You transform regret into motivation. That's how broken trust gets repaired. That's how wasted years start producing results. That's how you forgive yourself, not through words but through consistent effort. Regret hurts because it shows you what actually matters to you, the relationships you value but neglected, the dreams you had but delayed, the health you ignored. Instead of letting regret break you, let it guide you. Say, "If this matters enough to hurt me, it matters enough to fix." Dedicate 1 hour a day to whatever still feels unfinished. Not to punish yourself, but to redeem yourself. 1 hour is enough to write a chapter. Start a fitness routine. Learn that skill you abandoned. Pay off that small debt you kept ignoring. Because every hour you give to repairing what's broken brings peace back into your life. People think time heals regret, but it doesn't, not by itself. Time only numbs it. Peace comes from action, from knowing you finally did something about it. And 1 hour a day is all it takes to start feeling that peace. You are not your mistakes. You are not your wasted time. You are not your regret. You are what you do now. And what you do now is 100% in your control. Your future self isn't looking for perfection. It's looking for effort. It's looking for proof that you care enough to fix what matters. 1 hour a day to fix what you regret might not change your life overnight, but it will change something inside you immediately. Hope. Because the moment you stop running and start repairing, you stop feeling stuck in the past and start moving toward a future you can be proud of. You have 2 options. Keep carrying regret until it hardens into bitterness. Spend 1 hour a day turning regret into growth, one small repair at a time. Choose the second option. Choose action. Choose progress. Because 1 hour of courage today is worth more than a lifetime of regret tomorrow. Self-control isn't something you're born with. It's something you build. It's like a muscle. If you train it, it gets stronger. If you ignore it, it gets weaker. And most people, they've let that muscle atrophy. They give in to every impulse. They chase every distraction. They follow whatever feels good in the moment and wonder why their life feels out of control. But here's the good news. You can build it back 1 hour at a time. People think self-control is restrictive. They think it's about saying no all the time. But in reality, self-control is what gives you freedom. Freedom from constant regret. Freedom from unhealthy habits. Freedom from feeling like life is just happening to you. Without self-control, you're a passenger in your own life. With self-control, you're the driver. Every day, dedicate 1 hour to strengthening self-control. This is your personal training ground. That 1 hour is where you stay focused on one task without checking your phone. Push through boredom instead of seeking quick dopamine. Choose discipline over comfort, even when it's hard. It doesn't matter what you do in that hour, what matters is how you do it. You do it with focus, without giving in to distractions. Because this isn't just about getting something done. It's about training your mind to listen to you, not to impulses. Self-control isn't built in dramatic moments, it's built in small, repetitive decisions. Choosing to study for an hour instead of scrolling. Choosing to stay calm instead of reacting in anger. Choosing to show up when you don't feel like it. That's why 1 hour a day matters. It gives you daily reps, daily proof that you can control yourself when it counts. First, your brain will fight back. It's used to shortcuts. It's used to instant gratification. You'll feel urges to quit. You'll feel distractions calling. But that's not a sign you're failing, that's a sign you're training. Every time you push through that resistance, you're rewiring your mind to value focus over impulse, effort over escape. Talent is great, but discipline wins every time. Motivation is nice, but it fades. Discipline is what shows up when motivation is gone. 1 hour a day of practicing self-control will separate you from 90% of people, because most people don't even try. They live on autopilot. They give in to every urge and call it normal. But you're not trying to be normal. You're trying to be free from the chaos that comes with a lack of control. It's simple. Pick one activity that requires focus and consistency. Commit to doing it with 0 distractions for 1 hour. No phone. No side conversations. No multitasking. Examples. Write. Exercise. Read and take notes. Practice a skill. It doesn't matter what it is, it just has to demand focus and discipline. After a few weeks of daily self-control training, you'll notice changes. You'll focus longer without feeling restless. You'll make better choices automatically. You'll stop reacting emotionally to small problems. You'll feel calmer and more confident. Because self-control doesn't just affect one area of life. It touches everything. Your work, your relationships, your health, your mental clarity. There's a certain confidence that comes from knowing you can trust yourself. From knowing you won't be easily pulled off course. From knowing that even when life throws stress, you won't crumble. You'll act with intention. And that confidence is built, hour by hour, decision by decision. Most people will never do this. They'll say it's too hard or unnecessary. They'll keep giving in to distractions and calling it life. But not you. You've decided 1 hour a day is non-negotiable. Because you know self-control isn't optional if you want to live on your terms. Freedom doesn't come from doing whatever you feel like. It comes from having the strength to do what needs to be done. 1 hour a day is all it takes to build that strength. Every day, 1 hour of focused discipline. Every day, proof that you're stronger than your impulses. Do that enough times and you'll wake up one day with quiet confidence and real control. Not because life got easier, but because you got stronger. Fear is powerful. It doesn't just stop you from doing big things. It seeps into the small moments, too. It whispers, not now, maybe later, you're not ready yet. And most people listen. They let fear decide their pace. They let fear shrink their life into something safe, comfortable, and predictable, but also unfulfilling. Here's the truth. The life you want is on the other side of fear, and the only way to reach it is to face what scares you. Every single day. People think courage is something you either have or you don't. They think brave people were just born different. But courage isn't natural. It's trained. And how do you train courage? By facing fear, even when your voice shakes. That's where your 1 hour rule comes in. Every day, dedicate 1 hour to doing something that makes you uncomfortable. Something that stretches you. Something you would normally avoid because it's scary. The longer you avoid something, the scarier it feels. You give it power every time you run from it. Your brain exaggerates it. That phone call becomes a big deal. That presentation feels impossible. That business idea feels like a huge risk. But here's what's wild. Once you actually do the thing, you realize it wasn't nearly as scary as you thought. It was your avoidance making it feel bigger. 1 hour a day facing fear will shrink it faster than years of thinking about it. Courage isn't the absence of fear. It's the ability to move despite it. When you face one scary thing every day for 1 hour, you build trust with yourself. You teach your brain, we can feel fear and still take action. And that's life-changing because fear doesn't go away as you grow. The goals get bigger, the stakes get higher. But if you've trained yourself to act while afraid, fear can't stop you anymore. Make the call you've been avoiding. Send the message you're nervous to send. Start the side project that feels too risky. Speak up in the meeting. Share your work publicly. It doesn't matter what it is, it just needs to make you slightly uncomfortable. That's your training ground. When you face small fears daily, you build the muscle to face big ones. It compounds. One day, you'll look back and realize the things that used to paralyze you don't even faze you anymore. And that's when life opens up. Opportunities you used to avoid suddenly feel possible. People respect you more because you move with courage. And most importantly, you respect yourself more because you know you don't run anymore. Confidence doesn't come before action, it comes after. The people you admire, the ones who seem fearless, weren't born like that. They just took action again and again until their brain learned, we can handle this. That's what you're building with 1 hour a day. You're creating a confidence loop. Face fear for 1 hour. Realize you survived. Build trust in yourself. Repeat. Do that enough times and fear loses its grip. 1 hour of courage every day doesn't just change what you do. It changes who you are. It shifts your identity from someone who avoids risk to someone who faces it head-on. And identity drives behavior. When you see yourself as courageous, you naturally start taking bold actions everywhere. Most people won't do this. They'll keep avoiding the uncomfortable. They'll keep waiting for the perfect time that never comes. But you've decided to take 1 hour every day and push through. Even if your hands shake. Even if you're scared. Even if your mind tries to talk you out of it. That's how you separate yourself. That's how you build a life full of growth, not regret. Facing fear daily doesn't mean fear disappears forever. It means when it comes back, it doesn't control you anymore. You feel it, acknowledge it, and act anyway. That's freedom. That's power. Starting tomorrow, pick one thing that scares you and give it 1 hour. No distractions. No negotiating with yourself. Just action. You'll feel uncomfortable, yes. But when that hour is over, you'll feel proud. And pride beats fear every single time. The world is loud. Your phone pings. Social media shouts. Opinions pour in from people who don't even know you. You wake up, and before you even think for yourself, the world is already thinking for you. And slowly, you lose touch with what you actually want. That's why you need 1 quiet hour a day. An hour without outside noise, without other people's voices, without endless notifications pulling at your attention. Because growth doesn't happen in chaos. Growth happens in clarity. Every notification feels small, but it's not. Every time you check your phone or scroll for just 5 minutes, your focus resets. Your brain starts chasing stimulation instead of solutions. You can't build depth when you're constantly distracted. You can't make great decisions when you're processing everyone else's opinions. That's why people feel busy but empty. They're reacting to life instead of leading it. 1 hour of quiet every day is powerful because it gives your mind room to breathe. In that silence, you can think for yourself again, reconnect with your goals, reflect on your progress, plan your next move with clarity. It doesn't mean you have to meditate like a monk or sit in total stillness, unless you want to. It just means no external noise, no outside control. Just you and your growth. You focus on you. Read a book that feeds your mind. Write down your thoughts and ideas. Plan your priorities for the week. Learn a skill without distractions. Whatever it is, it must be intentional and noise-free. No phone. No notifications. No reacting to the outside world. The first time you take this hour, it might feel strange. Your hand will reach for your phone out of habit. Your brain will itch for stimulation. That's normal. That's withdrawal from constant noise. But stick with it, and you'll notice something incredible. You start to hear your own thoughts again. You start to trust your own voice again. You stop drowning in other people's opinions because you've given space to your own. Most people don't lack ideas, they lack clarity. They're pulled in 1,000 directions and wonder why they feel stuck. 1 hour of quiet thinking each day will separate you from 90% of people because clarity is rare in a world of distraction. And clarity gives you an edge. You'll make faster decisions, waste less time, and move with more confidence. Simply because you've taken time to think for yourself. This hour is not optional. It's non-negotiable. Because every time you skip it, you hand control of your day to the loudest thing around you. This is your chance to reset, to plan, to grow without interference. You wouldn't let random people control your bank account, So why let random notifications control your mind? When you can sit with yourself for an hour without distraction, you build mental toughness. You train yourself to stop craving constant stimulation. You teach your mind to focus deeply, to be calm even when the world is chaotic. That skill is rare. That skill is powerful. Because if you can stay calm and focused in silence, you can stay calm and focused anywhere. Most people will keep chasing noise. They'll wake up and check notifications. They'll scroll before they even get out of bed. They'll live life based on what everyone else is doing. But you'll be different. You'll create space for your own thoughts. You'll build your life from clarity, not chaos. Starting tomorrow, pick 1 hour a day for silence and growth. No phone, no social media, no reacting to the world. Just you, your thoughts, your goals. Do it every day until silence feels like a superpower, and it will. Because in a world full of noise, the one who controls their focus controls their life. It's easy to lose trust in yourself. You say you'll start, but you don't. You promise to finish, but you quit halfway. You make plans, but they stay on paper. And every time you break a promise to yourself, something inside you changes. You stop believing your own words. You stop trusting your own goals. Even small tasks start to feel heavy because, deep down, you don't believe you'll follow through. Failure is not the enemy. Everyone fails. The real enemy is losing belief in your own word. When you say, "I'll do it tomorrow," and tomorrow comes and goes, your brain learns something dangerous. I don't mean what I say. That's why starting feels hard. Not because you can't do the work, but because your brain doesn't trust you to finish it. The solution is simple but powerful. 1 focused hour every single day where you show up no matter what. This hour isn't about proving anything to the world. It's about proving something to yourself. I keep my word. I do what I say I'll do. Every hour you complete becomes evidence. Evidence that you can rely on yourself again. And self-trust is the foundation of everything. Your confidence, your habits, your future. Don't overwhelm yourself with big, complicated schedules you won't keep. Just promise 1 hour a day. That's it. No excuses. No skipping because it's just one day. No overthinking. Because this hour isn't about the task. It's about building integrity. You know how it feels to say things you don't mean. It eats away at your confidence. But the moment you start doing what you say, even something small, you start transforming, you stop hesitating. You stop doubting every decision. You start carrying yourself with quiet confidence. Because now your brain believes you. 1 hour a day doesn't feel like much at first. You might even think it's too small to matter. But consistency is magic. Day 1 builds trust. Day 7 builds momentum. Day 30 changes how you see yourself entirely. Because once you prove you can show up for 1 hour every day, you'll believe you can do more. And belief is everything. Stop waiting for motivation to knock on your door. Stop waiting for perfect timing. Stop waiting for someone else to push you. This is your life. This is your responsibility. And trust is rebuilt by you, not by anyone else, not by luck, not by waiting. The person you want to be, the one who is focused, disciplined, and proud of their life, is watching what you do today. Will you keep delaying? Will you keep talking instead of doing? Or will you show up for 1 hour and start rebuilding trust? Every time you complete your hour, you're sending a message to your future self. You can count on me now. I don't quit anymore. At first, your brain will resist. It will remind you of all the times you quit. But keep showing up, and something shifts. You stop negotiating with yourself. You stop doubting your own word. You move with quiet confidence because you know, I do what I say I'll do. You don't need to tell anyone about your change. You don't need to post it online. Your results will speak for you. Your consistency will speak for you. Your life will speak for you. Because trust isn't built through words. It's built through action repeated daily. Keep this promise to yourself 1 hour, every day. No excuses. Do it until it's automatic. Do it until your word feels solid again. Do it until you trust yourself enough to dream bigger and follow through on it. And one day you'll look back at the version of you who used to delay, who used to quit, who used to doubt, and you won't even recognize them. Because now you're different. Now you're disciplined. Now you trust yourself. That's all it takes to rebuild your life from the inside out. Not with talk. Not with big plans. But with quiet, consistent proof that you are who you say you are.